And about 2 years later, a good friend's husband dropped dead at the age of 50 of a heart attack. And I thought, okay, how much longer
Wow.
do you keep putting this off? And at the
Mhm.
time, I was 47 and
Mm.
my mom died at 48. So for a long
Oh my
time, my story was I'm going to be dead at 48, right? So the funeral is over. I call the coaching school and I'm like, all right, when does the next program start? And what's the student loan thing? I think I paid $120 a month for like 10 years or something
Mhm.
ridiculous like that. I guess it's, I mean, I've probably always been on this journey, but so I just shared with you before we started recording, I shared with you I have a birthday this Sunday. It's the big 6-0.
Oh,
So probably
Oh.
about 15 years ago, I was in my mid 40s and I kind of looked around and I was like, where did all my girlfriends go? Like, I have no friends anymore. And was really looking for girlfriends. And
Mhm.
I found this women's group. It was called Magic Parties, and it was this group of women that met every month and talked about there was just a different topic each month. And they did
Mhm.
a couple of retreats a year, and I was like, these are my people.
mm,
And it was run by a coach, and there were other coaches in it. But 15 years ago, nobody knew what coaching was. It wasn't the
right.
buzzword that it is today.
Right.
Mhm.
And I thought, I want to do this. I want to be a coach. I was a leader in a corporate setting. So I was kind of coaching my employees, but like I wanted to go to coaching school. Well, I looked into it and it was not inexpensive. And I was like, I can't really justify this expense for like a part-time hobby.
Right.
So I kept wanting to do it and wishing I could and all the things. And over the last few years, I also worked with a company as a professional matchmaker and a date and relationship coach. That has ended. So really my focus is working with women who spend so much time in their brain, in their head, and always gets kind of um, paralyzed. I call it paralyzed by indecision because they're in the
Mhm.
what if. Well, what if this happens? And what if this happens? And what if this happens? And
Mhm.
really teaching them how to surrender and trust. And I had to learn that. Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Things happen. Like it wasn't
Right.
bad that I lost my job. I lost my job. The
Right.
bad
Mhm.
is the judgment I put on it.
Right.
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 Yes.
And
Right.
that's that things don't happen to me.
They
Things
happen for.
happen.
Right.
So, you
Mhm.
you change and switch how
Yeah.
you need to, but things happen. It's not something that like nobody is has a voodoo doll and they're, poking
Right.
pins. Well, I mean they might, but
They might. I mean, that's
it
possible,
doesn't
right?
affect me.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is when we're in it, it's hard to see it. But when you,
The busyness trap.
oh, yeah, let's talk
We
about that.
we live in a society where
Busy,
it
busy, busy.
right.
Yep.
And sometimes it seems like an unintentional thing or like you're not even
Yeah.
aware of it.
Mm.
So tell us about the busyness trap and how to work
Yeah.
through those things and avoid.
Yeah. I call it an addiction because, we're addicted to alcohol, we're addicted to food, addicted to drugs, and we're addicted to busyness. The difference is food, you're fat, drugs, you're an addict, or you're a drunk. But the busyness, you get pats on the back. Wow,
Right.
you're successful and got a lot done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
But they're at the fundamental level, they're all doing the same thing. They're numbing you. I use EFT. So I'm an EFT practitioner. So I used EFT, which is similar to acupuncture, but you tap points on your face, on your body, and
Yeah.
it uses the mind body system to bring change in emotions and thoughts and behaviors.
Hmm.
So I used EFT to tap through like what is coming up for me right now.
Yeah.
And what came up was if I'm not doing, I'm not worthy. So my worth is tied to what I can do. So if I'm just
Hmm.
sitting here reading a book, I'm
Mhm.
not worthy. Well, that's not true.
Right.
Right.
So I tapped through that and then I sat and continued reading my book, right?
Hmm.
But I had to get to the root of like, why do I feel like I need to get like there's nothing to do, but keeping ourselves in that do is to avoid
Right.
the
Now you said something, you talking about anxiety about your mother passing away
feeling.
at 48. And I remember my dad passed away at the age of 47. So
Mm.
I was like, had anxiety, coming up to that 47th year.
Yeah.
All right, I made it past that 47th year, but then I was like, well, maybe if I make it to 48, I'll be fine.
I actually, for my 49th birthday, I threw myself a "Hey, look, I didn't die" party. My friends were like, I'm sorry, what?" I was like, look, for a long time, this was my story.
Many people struggle with their inner critic. How do you
Mm.
guide your clients in silencing that voice and embracing their true potential?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, there's different names for the inner critic, gremlin, whatever it is, but it is that internal voice that is, um, you talked about records. This is like the tape recorder over and over and over,
Mm-hmm.
telling you, you shouldn't do that. Oh, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't bad enough. And I tell my clients, like, your brain lies to you 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's
Right.
good for math problems, but
Right.
other than that,
Yeah.
Right.
it's lying to you. And I think part of it is slowing down enough and getting quiet enough to recognize it's a lie.